She's sugary, she's spice. She is everything plus nice. Take her one-on-one class and she provides the best advice. She'll take you down to the trenches, but only to lead a new way. Only for the sake of you and your legacy to establish a new day. Let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Reprimander and the Supreme Hugger, G. Smith. G. Smith.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Chi Smith here. Oh my gosh. Look, it is Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You could be doing anything else, and you might be driving in your car. You may be headed to the grocery store. You may be cooking, or just whatever. You stop because the Energy Show is live. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I'm not going to be before you long, guys. It's been a day. But it's been a productive day. So hopefully it's been a productive day for you guys as well. We come to you with love. We come to you with passion. We come to you with knowledge, information. Those of you who tune in every week know that go get your pen, your paper, because we love to write down things, because there's plenty of gems that will be dropped on the Energy Show. You know that. I mean, I'm serious. I think we really might be here for maybe 15, 20 minutes at max. So we're going to get in and get out. You guys know that we are doing our series on dysfunctional family. And so please go back and watch the replays. I'll be sure that I'll recycle the replays so that you guys can get them and share them with your family and friends, because I'm telling you, people's families are being healed. Families are having conversations around the dinner table, around the, Sunday dinners or the barbecues and the, whatever is happening, whatever gatherings, right? And so we're not afraid to have these conversations. In order to understand how to become functional, we have to understand what's dysfunctional, what hasn't been working, right? There's a lot of things for many different years, and many generations that we have deemed as right, just because it's been kind of woven in and built into our family dynamic. But that doesn't mean that just because we've been doing it for 20, 50 years, 100 years, doesn't mean that it's right. Okay? Does not mean that it is right. So we are here to learn. So go grab your pen, your paper, and look, get it for yourself too. Maybe some stuff that you need to work out, figure out. We just had a wonderful women's conference called Let's Change Together. The third annual host was Maisha Barnett, and we so appreciate that wonderful soul, because it was literally life-changing. And my topic was healing below the surface, and we had many of topics, and I believe that those will be available for replay. So you definitely want to look out for that to purchase any replays or anything. It was definitely instructional, informational for many of the audience attendees. Even the speakers gleaned from the other speakers, and that is what was really impactful. So definitely look out for that as well. I'll be sharing that periodically as those classes are available. Now, again, we are talking about the dysfunctional family, okay? Tonight, now, we're going to be talking about control, and we're going to identify just a few characteristics about control. And listen, that could be you, or it could be somebody in the family, or it could be several people in the family. Now, if you guys tuned in on July 26th, we were talking about unresolved conflict. Today, we're talking about characteristics of control, and we broke down the root word of conflict. So the root word of con means to swindle, to manipulate, to persuade, to burden, and to victimize. And we're talking about control, okay? We're talking about control, C-O-N. We hear a lot about the word con, con artist, con whatever. It is generally built and baked into a negative connotation. So as we're talking about characteristics of control, just think, before we go any deeper, are there anybody in your family that you feel like have the spirit of control? Are they always trying to control a situation? Are they always dictating? Are they always, operating in some type of a controlling fashion, right? You probably automatically ping, 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 ping. Don't put their names in the chat. Let's keep that anonymous. But you know who they are. And or it could be you. It could be you. It could be me, right? We're here to learn about ourselves, y'all. Y'all know how we get down? We get it for ourselves. And then once we become set free and delivered, then we can share with other people, help them, and then they will help others. It becomes a whole domino effect. Y'all know the slogan. We say it every time we go here live. Now, control, con, swindle, to manipulate, to persuade, to victimize, and to burden. I mean, okay, all right, let's keep going. Generally, the people who operate in the facet of control are the biggest ones that have some insecurities. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that maybe in the family, maybe there's some dysfunctionality because maybe there's really those one or two individuals who operate in their own insecurities. Control really stems from fear. Did you guys know that? Control stems from fear. And we'll dive into that, and it'll make more sense as we talk about the few characteristics that we're going to talk about. But let's keep breaking down these words. So con, we talked about con. I went deeper and wanted to see what was troll. T-R-O-L. What is troll? And I was looking all over the place, and I did my research. And troll, T-R-O-L, gave me a couple definitions. One of them was like patrol, right? Patrol, P-A-T-R-O-L, patrol. The other one says informant. Just keep that back there. Keep that back there. So if we got con, and then we got troll, if we got con, swindle, manipulate, persuade, victimize, burden, who is the informant that's manipulating? Who is patrolling the manipulation in the family? Somebody is carrying it out. A lot of our dysfunctionality in family is people know what they're doing, but that control factor, which stems from fear, which stems from insecurities, they find themselves comfortable in that space. It gives them a level of comfort because they don't want you to see. Okay. So then I said, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Then I said, well, let me look at patrol. I mean, we can say what patrol really is. We know what that is. But let me go a little deeper with the word patrol, P-A-T-R-O-L, patrol. And patrol means to watch over. Who seems to be like watching over the family, watching everybody, always observing of what's going on. Monitoring, to monitor. Who's monitoring? Who always watching and then got something to say? They just taking notes because they ready to fire off. To examine. Surveillance. I'm like, man. So it took me back and I said, okay, so are we saying that there are individuals that in the family that are kind of like these cameras? You mean we got cameras in our families? Like people that just set up and just watch and look and examine and monitor and surveillance? And then I went a little step further in my thought process and said, okay, so yeah, there are people in the family who do that, all in the name of them gathering their information so that they can then operate in the role of control. But the only way they can do that is if they have enough information. And generally, when things take place, a robbery, something come up missing, an accident, and if there was a camera around, generally there is an ask for the surveillance so they can get the right detailed information. Do we got some controlling people in the family? Just think about your family. Maybe it's not your family. Maybe it's somebody else's family that's watching. We're talking about control. We're dissecting the word control and what does that mean? And then we're going to go over into the characteristics, and it'll make more sense when you understand the characteristics from the root words and these definitions and these meanings because it's deep. People who operate in a controlling factor, generally it stems from fear. And a known fear that they have, you may not know it, but they have it. They are in fear of something. And so the only way to not acknowledge the fear is to operate in control. Same thing with their insecurities. They are insecure about something that they have. They don't want you to know about it. So then it's masked with the role of control. Those who are dominated by control always act out of fear. And generally, when a person does that, it never ends well. It becomes disastrous, resulting in some broken relationships. Hence why we're here talking about the dysfunctional family. Has control, the role of control, broken up some relationships in your family? Just a question. Maybe it's rhetorical. Guys, if you just tune into the Energy Show, thank you so much. We are in and out today. We are going to be in and out. We're going to be dropping these nuggets and getting out of your way for the day. Thank you so much for just availing yourself. We're talking about the Dysfunctional Family series, and tonight we're talking about the characteristics of control, and we are going through the definition and the meanings of control. Control. And so then I went a little further and said, okay, so patrol, coming from the root word of troll, T-R-O-L, those definitions of troll was patrol and or an informant. So then, of course, I'm like, let's go a little deeper. How about we understand some roles, actual duties, roles, positions of control? Law enforcement is an example, right? Law enforcement. Military personnel. Those of you who've been to the military, the ranks, those who are in rank will have control over, the people. I've never been to the military, so I apologize if I'm using the wrong terminology. Military personnel. Another role, private security. Private security. Is any of this ringing a bell to some of your family members? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just put a thumbs up in the chat or in the comment section, okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Law enforcement, military personnel, private security, and generally, those roles are assigned to monitor a specific geographical area. Now that blew me away. Because the role of control doesn't matter what it controls and who it controls and where it controls. It just has that role and it will operate in any facet, anywhere, any demographical, geographical area. It doesn't matter about the demographics. Doesn't matter about the geographics. The role of control is universal. But it really struck me as it relates to the word control and how those who operate in that role seem to act like military personnel. They seem to act like law enforcement. They seem to act like somebody's private security. I remember it was a comedian. It could have been Bernie Mac. I don't know. But it was back in the day, there used to be some type of a joke that a comedian would say that, I'm the law around here. I'm the law around here. That meant they were making it known that they finna be controlling what's going on. Control is rooted in fear. Let's go through these quick characteristics, because I told you I'm not going to be before you long, people. We're going to get in, we're going to get out. Because we know those people already, but we have to really understand that it is deep-rooted. And it's deep-rooted in fear, and it's deep-rooted in insecurities. Therefore, there is a reflection of who they are. Okay. First characteristic of a person who operates in the role of control. That person generally almost always assume authority one does not have. The person who operates in control generally assumes authority that they don't even have. I remember in corporate America, and you have these teams, right? And you always have a team lead. But the team lead is not the manager or the district manager or the regional or whatever, right? But they always was just, they a team, an employee just like you. Y'all make the same thing, but that person always got to act like the manager. They are assuming an authority that they don't even have. They don't even, management doesn't even look, it's nowhere in their future. But they assume this authoritative role. Right? We're talking about people who assume the role of control. Okay? Kind of like your siblings, right? You always have a sibling in the family who just want to be everybody's mom and daddy. They are assuming an authoritative role that they don't even have. You ain't the mama. You ain't the daddy. But they assume this role. They're operating in the role of control. Okay? Second characteristic. A person who operates in the role of control has the inability to admit that one was wrong, that they was wrong. That person who just will not admit that they was wrong. They just operate in control. A controlling person will rarely, if ever, admit that he or she is wrong. That individual, when they are displaying a false sense of confidence because they want you to believe that they got it all together. Meanwhile, they are displaying a false sense of confidence. Controlling people are really very insecure. We're talking about the folks who have the inability to admit that they are wrong. They want to operate in a place of confidence, but it's not real because it's really a cover-up for where they're insecure at. Those individuals are operating the role of control. Number three, the individual who operates in the role of control, they take matters into their own hands, especially matters that do not belong in their hands. The person who takes matters, they just coming in doing stuff. What? Will you sit down? Who told you to do this? Who told you to go over there? Who told you to? They just taking matters in their own hands, and the matters don't even belong to them. That controlling person believes that no one can handle a matter as well as he or she can. That's why they come straight into a situation and just start doing, because they have it preconceived in their brain that nobody can do it better than them. Nobody can cook it better. Nobody can clean better. Nobody can drive it better. Nobody can mow the lawn better. Nobody can raise the kids better. Nobody can do the business plan better. So they just take matters into their own hands. They just walk straight in and just start doing. Because they feel like can't nobody else do it better than them. And guys, we are talking about the dysfunctional family, but this could be in your business ventures. This could be in your nonprofit organization. This could be in your for-profit, your LLC, your sole proprietor, your S corp, your whatever. You could even have this in your church, in your community. Okay? In your women's group, your men's group. We are here to identify those individuals so that we can understand, okay, or point them out, or know within ourselves, okay, that's that person. All right. And you get to choose. You got the power to choose if you want to deal with them or not. How about that? You got the power to choose. And or it just helps you understand people better. That's the great thing about the Inner Chi Show. Of course I'm biased, but I love being here because we're here to learn. We're not here to pass judgment on anybody. We're here to learn people so that we can know how to navigate in this thing called world, in this thing called life. If we don't know what's happening, what's going on, and the purpose behind it, the intended purpose behind these things, we will not know how to navigate, and we will be walking aimlessly on this here universe and either interact or not. But I do believe that there is some importance in creating relationships. Now, every relationship is not meant for you. Know that. Everybody is not meant to be your friend, your associate, your business partner, your boo, your husband, your wife, your BFF. Everybody ain't meant for that. And look, let's be clear. However, it does bring about a peace of mind when you know how to operate. It's just something about knowing who you're dealing with. Okay? All right. That same person that take matters into their own hands, that type of attitude is rooted in pride. I mean, it's rooted in pride. They cannot bear to think that anyone else can do it like them or better than them. Oh my goodness gracious. Woo. Oh my goodness. That person that just take matters into their own hands, it's rooted in pride. And they just can't bear to think, can't imagine the fact that somebody else can do it better or no more. So that's why they immediately come in, that first to do whatever. They're going to come straight in and assume a job responsibility, a job role, because they don't want Jimmy getting to it before them. They don't want Sarah getting to it before them, because Sarah might just show them up. Jimmy might just show them up, and they don't want to be showed up because, again, that pride on the inside. Can't nobody cut grass better than me. Now, you done worked a whole 16-hour shift. And instead of allowing somebody else in the family or in the house or whatever to do it, you just, I'm forgetting, now you tired. Because can't nobody cut the grass better than you. Can't nobody do it better. Okay, that's control. Casting blame on others. The person who assumes the controlling role casts blame on others. They have to maintain a level of superiority. It's easy to point the blame. That keeps them in their position, right? A person of control never wants to be low. Remember, control is rooted from fear and insecurities. So that right there puts them at a level that they don't want to be recognized as. So it is going to be, they are going to gravitate toward blaming others because they want to maintain a superior position in order to feel good about themselves. Again, as long as you don't know my fears, as long as you don't know my insecurities, I'll forever look like I'm up here. I'll forever stay on my throne. I'll never get knocked down. That's a role of control. We're talking about characteristics of control. Are some of these people in your family destroying your family, causing dysfunctionality in your family? That's what we're talking about. We are here to recognize who, what I said in the post yesterday, who in the hell left the gate open? James Cleveland. I remember the name, y'all. James Cleveland. And we're here to recognize these things because maybe it's unbeknownst to them that they're even operating in these various traits and characteristics. That's why those of you who tune in have to have the conversation around the dinner table or at the family functions, because you're getting the information. So now you're charged with asking the question and or bringing up certain things. Now, it might ruffle some feathers. It might not. I don't know. But here's the deal. There's a saying that says you don't know what you don't know. A lot of us are operating in certain traits and characteristics, definitely in our family dynamic. And again, we said it in the beginning. We don't know. We didn't even know that they were wrong. We've been operating like this for years and centuries and decades, guys. And we do not understand the concept of that some of this stuff is just wrong. It was never meant for us. It was never built for us. We have become attached to certain way of living, certain way of doing things, certain way of walking, talking. And nobody told us that that was incorrect. That was never intended for you to be that. It was never intended for you to be broke. Huh? It was never intended for you to be enslaved. It was never intended for you to experience abuse. It was never intended for you, ... fill in the blank. But because we were never taught or told that this is incorrect, and then no one followed up with the correct thing, we just went along with the flow. And so flow became a part of what we know. That rhymes. I'm not a rapper. I keep saying that. The flow became a part of what we know. And so it became ingrained and woven. It became woven into our lifestyle. No one ever told us that it was incorrect. So these characteristics of the role of control, either you identify with them personally and or you know someone in the family who has been the culprit of causing dysfunctionality. Now, know that it's not the person, it is the trait in which they're operating in. It's because nobody ever told them. I bet you if you have this conversation around the water cooler with the fam, people's eyes may be open. Just might. The person who assumes the role of control casts blame on others because they want to maintain a superior position in order to feel good about his or herself. This person also who casts blame refuses to look at his or herself as the one responsible for the problem. Yeah, they're not going to come down off the throne. Because if they really say that I'm the problem. What is it? I think there's a saying that's all over social media. Am I the problem? Am I the problem? Yeah. Could I be the problem? Am I the problem? Yeah. But can we honestly and confidently say that and then work on being better? Or are we too caught up in not exposing our own fears and insecurities? Because it'll make people look at us a certain way. So here's a little nugget for you guys. As you are dealing with people who operate in the role of control, here's what you can do. Establish boundaries. How about that? Establish boundaries. Let people know that this is where they probably should be, especially if we talking about siblings. Again, you got the baby of the bunch talking crazy to the oldest. You know, wait a minute. Who next in line here? Okay, after the parents, who next in line? And guess what? Sometimes that baby goes to characteristic number 3. They're taking matters into their own hands because they feel that nobody can do it better than them. Right? So maybe the baby of the bunch is assuming the role of the eldest because they feel like, well, they don't know what they're doing. They never get it right. I know how mom and daddy want it. Oh, I know how it's supposed to be done. I know how the family should have it done. I know what it should look like. And my goodness, if they got all of this experience. I've been doing this for 35 years. I know what I'm doing, and this is how it's supposed to be. Ooh, that is the role of control. So when you're dealing with someone like that, you got to set boundaries. You got to say, okay, I respect your expertise, but how can we work together? Right? Invite them in. Now that's going to shock them. And it might make them a little uncomfortable because they can't have their way. Okay? But set boundaries and be able to effectively communicate what those boundaries look like and how it will satisfy the end goal. I will absolutely ask you to maybe write down some of the things that have made you and the family uncomfortable by the person who's assuming the role of control. So as you are creating these boundaries, like I always tell you guys, don't come with a problem if you can't come with a solution. So if you're going to set boundaries, you got to also be able to pinpoint at what time, during what event, what exercise, what life experience took place that made you feel uncomfortable and made you feel that boundaries were crossed and they should never been crossed. Okay. First, you got to identify what happened so that person can have a place of reference. Right. So, okay, let me give an example. If a parent broke a foot and one of the kids had to, take over now, be a caregiver, blah, blah, blah. You need to be able to say, hey, when mama or daddy or when grandma, when whoever broke their foot and you just without asking anybody, without including anybody, you got to be able to pinpoint so that they can have a place of reference. Whether they agree or not, they can go with you to that event mentally, to that memory mentally, and have a place of reference so they can recollect. Now, again, they may not like the boundaries you're about to set in place, but at least they know, hey, during this time, you overstepped your boundaries, homie. It didn't have to go down like that. It could have, gone down a little different. And this is how. Had you not been selfish and operating in the role of control and being so authoritative and thinking that you always right, you never wrong, and blaming other folks for not helping you when you jumped in and took matters into your own hands. Come on. Is it making sense? Yeah. So set those boundaries be sure that you write down those events, those ideas early enough so that you can articulate to whomever you're speaking to in the family as a place of reference. And then, of course, say this is what could have been done, and or moving forward, would you mind X, Y, and Z? That's setting those necessary boundaries in place. Okay. Make sure that it is imperative that you always make sure that you just don't allow them to abuse you. Don't allow yourself to be abused. When you see and sniff and snuff out, oh, this is their role of control creeping in, go back to your boundaries. As a family, every family need to have boundaries not to cross. You got people who got safe words, right? They got safe. That means, okay, you didn't cross the boundary now. Simmer down, right? Or whatever that works for your family. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. I really hope it was helpful. Again, it's always a pleasure to be in front of your presence. Please like and share, like and share, like and share. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. So stay safe, stay loving, and catch this replay. See y'all.
She's sugary, she's spice. She is everything plus nice. Take her one-on-one class and she provides the best advice. She'll take you down to the trenches, but only to lead a new way. Only for the sake of you and your legacy, to establish a new day. Let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Reprimander and the Supreme Hugger, Chief Smith.